1 million jobs at risk from U.S. tariffs. Can you believe it'd be that?
What?
1 million seems high, right?
1 million.
I mean, that's like, I think there's
That's more than
how many workers are there in Canada? That's like 5% of the workforce.
Yeah.
The imposition of full U.S. tariffs on Canada places approximately 1 million Canadian jobs at risk, says Immigration Minister Mark Miller. No matter what we do, anytime you got a mark with a C, it's trouble. I'm telling you. No matter what we do, if tariffs come into place, it's going to be painful for the Canadian economy. 1 million jobs at risk is no joke, Miller said during a March 3rd press conference in Montreal. Miller's comments came before U.S. Presidential Donald Trump said later that day he would impose tariffs on Canada and Mexico, noting there's nothing either country could do to avoid them at this stage. Miller said he came out of those meetings with some ambivalence, not knowing whether they've been useful or useless. Canadian officials like Miller have sought to highlight that the Canadian border is much less problematic than the Mexican border. I mean, I can't understand why these guys just keep going with that. Nobody wants to hear that.
Well, what do you mean? Of course, people love hearing that. They
No,
just
they
keep
don't.
using
Like,
that 1%.
I know, but it's like when if you're like, if your say a couple of your employees are stealing from you, and then you find out that one's stealing 10% and one's stealing 90%. The other, the 10% can say, "Hey, man, it's still just, it's not okay." And not to mention that it's just sort of based on what they find. It's not based on actual numbers.
Yeah.
We don't know what the actual numbers of drug
Like
flow.
the super labs that got busted, you mean? Like that? Those
Yeah.
those were sending
I
stuff.
think 198 million doses of fentanyl were on.
That was all for Canada.
That's all for Canada. The Canadian
You think
economy.
it's just going to go by ship somewhere else and not go across the land border? Come on.
The Canadian economy is largely dependent on free access to the United States. The majority of U.S. states also have Canada as their main export. We can't replace an economy that is responsible for 80% of our trade overnight. Bank of Governor Tiff Macklin said in late February the consequences of a trade war will be severe and different from the COVID-19 economic crash.
So why don't we just buy more stuff from America? Like why wouldn't the politicians? I mean, forget the timing of
America, buddy. Get with the program.
What?
We're boycotting America.
I know, but it's because part of the reason is because we buy less from them, they buy more for us, right? Like when you look at the trade deficit, it's like 150 billion, right? 150,000 million, right? We don't buy from them, they buy from us. So I think that's what Trump's saying, right? Is let us buy more goods from Canada. So why can't we work on making that?
I think he wants to sell more stuff here.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I said. Yeah. That's exactly what I said.
He said, let us buy more stuff from Canada. I mean, let us
more from us Canadians buy more stuff from the States. Yes, sorry.